What's going on, everyone? I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very good day. Today we're going to be working on this little, well, not little. I have to stop saying that. I always say little. This is bonsai after all, right? But yeah, we're going to be working on this blue juniper that you've seen before. It's one of the blue junipers that I've been working for years now, actually. These are some of the first trees that I ever worked on. And this one in particular is the one that we perform the air layer on. So there we can see that now that branch has been completely removed, and now we got you know the branches that we're going to be working with. Yeah. So right from the get-go we can see that this is going to be very traditional when it comes to the informal upright shape and style. We can see that here we have the first branch, the second one, maybe a branch that can continue to grow here. So what we're going to do today is a little bit of pruning to develop those separate paths. We're also going to remove the wire in some places, and we are also going to remove the foliage that has been damaged by the sun. I don't know if you can see here, but there's a couple of needles and pieces of foliage that have been damaged by the sun. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to place the camera down. Whenever I see something interesting, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you. Yeah, but the first thing that we're going to do is pruning. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So I think as I work my way up to the upper branches, I'm going to be removing that foliage that I told you has been damaged by the sun, or it's a bit old now, and that way I don't have to waste time doing something, then stopping, starting another procedure. It's gonna make use of time. So here we have the first branch, yeah, and we can see here that some of the branches are drooping, yeah, are going or growing directly downwards. So if there's one like this one over here, see this one that's growing completely downwards, we can go ahead and remove that. We can clean those lines. Yeah, we can come in and clear those lines, removing all the foliage that is growing downwards. And for example, here, if we can see that we have some foliage that is growing in the correct position, but we got some that is growing downwards, we can just remove the one that is growing downwards. Yeah, like this. Yeah, and that gives us a more defined line, cleaner branch. And let's take a look at this over here. You can see that the tips here are new. Whenever you see that on Juniperus, you shouldn't actually prune. And if you ask me, maybe this isn't the best time to prune just because of this, not because of the season, just because the tree is actively growing. And so I am doing this because the tree has already hardened so much foliage, has already pushed out new foliage, that this is actually a second flush of growth that we've been noticing and that the tree is experiencing because of rain, of the rainy season. Yeah. So there's another branch here, and we can do the same thing. We can do a little bit of cleanup, remove the foliage that is growing downwards. That way we have defined paths. Yeah. But it's gonna be a bit longer before we clear the outline of the branches. just because that's just new growth. We're gonna let that growth mature. We're gonna let that grow harden before we prune that. Yeah. So you can see that the line is clearer now here. That's very good. Yeah. So let's continue to do that on the other side. Yeah. And we'll work our way to the top. Okay. So in this section right here, we can see that this branch is covering the front of the tree. And this is a branch that starts here at the back. And then it splits into two. And it's good. We don't need to remove this. I already cleaned a little bit of this spat over here. We don't need to remove this, but we do need to move it to the side. Maybe prune it back, move it to the side, so we have a cleaner line, a cleaner view of the trunk here. And we can see that we have buds that are growing from, further back down the same branch. So we're gonna be able to cut this. And as we can see here, we also don't have as much or as many new little buds there. So we can prune back and then wire. Yeah. First, I'm going to be pruning, and then we're going to wire. So I come in, I prune. Let's see. There. If I see there's a piece of growth that maybe is growing, like I've said before, right, directly upwards or directly downwards, that's something that I remove. For example, this, you see this right here, it's growing straight up. So we can go ahead and remove that. Yeah. And now it's a matter of wiring this into place. So yeah. So another thing that we're going to do is remove this ugly steel wire that I applied before. The branches are already in position, so we just come in and remove this. Okay. So let's continue to do that, and then we can continue to the top. This is what it's starting to look like. You can see that I've removed most of the wire, and I've also pruned quite a bit. But I can see that I have a problem here with the apex. There's this whole section that doesn't have any branches. Let's see if I can, there. Yeah, and then we got the top that is completely filled with these little tufts that we can, use as branches. In fact, some of them are already lignified, are already hard, so we can use them as branches, but we need to wire them into position. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is apply wire to this whole line and then bend it in such a way that maybe one of these little branches can become the new apex, and these will be the branches in this portion of the tree, in this section of the tree where we have none. I'm also going to wire this one into position, and here at the back we have a couple more that also need to be wired. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as I'm concerned, as far as what I'm gonna do today. So I'm just gonna place the wire and then I'll show you how I bend it into place. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. So here we are, and I understand if you don't want to see any of my videos ever again. We can see that it did end up pruning a lot, and this is because of two reasons. One, there were some branches here on the top section and in the middle section that were being overshadowed by other branches, and so I thought it was better that they got more light and more airflow, so I decided to prune and give them exactly that. Sorry I didn't show you how I bent the branches once the wire was applied, but you know, it's pretty basic procedure. We can see that now we have more branches over here. When they harden, when they lignify, we will be able to use them for the top section and for the apex. Yeah. So yeah, it looks awful right now, but I'm pretty happy with the result. I can see that the branches are now in place. I can see that the structure has, improved. And one of the next steps will be to think about deadwood. You know, there's no juniper bonsai without deadwood, and so I think that will be one of the next steps. Yeah, we can see that. The branches are now in place. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's now a matter of waiting and growing it so it can continue to develop. We can see that there's a bit of a negative space here, but fortunately, I have this little bud right here that if it continues to grow, I'll be able to place here. Yeah, and that will give us, that little patch of foliage that we need. Yeah, so I hope you liked this video. Another very important thing, my friends, if you like my videos, if you want to see more videos regarding plants, aquariums, terrariums, and all those things, please follow my other channel. It's Fishbowls and Musgo, which is mus for Spanish, in Spanish. And yeah, please follow. If you have any comments, questions, out anything about bonsai, about this tree in particular, you want to see something, or you want to see something over there, you have questions over there, please drop them down below as usual. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.